Should the Denver Broncos re-sign JK Dobbins? How black and white is that question? On the surface, it's a very easy question to answer. You see the talent, right? You saw the productivity that he gave you on the field. It's a no-brainer, isn't it? Well, the finances, maybe. It's a risk given his injury history. But I do believe that if the Denver Broncos say, we feel comfortable rolling with R.J. Harvey as our number one or even as our number two, there are separate options the Broncos could explore if they did not want to renew JK Dobbins' contract. Welcome in Broncos country to the Broncos Breakdown by Chat Sports. My name is Moose. And the reason that you hit subscribe is because not just for the fresh, entertaining, informative Denver Broncos content, but ESPN Plus, which will give you nonstop Denver Broncos content, costs you $360 a year. Well, I don't know about you, but free $99 sounds better than $360 a year. So do us a favor, if you want free Denver Broncos content, 365 days a year, lock us in and hit that subscribe button today. All right, let's go back to JK for a second. Went back on IR on November 13th. Up until that point was participating and playing like one of the best running backs in the NFL, and it wasn't particularly close. I mean, you saw it from the eye test how good he was, and the stats did a good job of complementing what we saw. I mean, just take a look at the numbers. These are excellent. 5 yards a carry. He scored 4 times on the ground with a PFF grade of 76.8. Dude's a stud. And for the low price that the Denver Broncos signed for him this year, which was, I think his annual salary this year was $2 million or like $50,000 above $2 million. Either way, dirt cheap. Like dirt cheap. However, there is a major elephant in the room. Dobbins has yet to complete a full season in the NFL. You can't run from that fact. It is what it is. J.K. Dobbins is an injury-prone player. I know there's going to be tons of fans that get down there and go, a hip drop tackle does not make him injury-prone. Well, I'm not even talking about this last injury that he sustained. Let's just go back to his entire history as an NFL running back. Like I told you, he has yet to complete a full season in the NFL. You have to bake in the injuries if you're talking about playing with J.K. Dobbins. He might be great for 10 games. He might be great for 14 games. Are you going to get a full 17 from him? Most likely not. But the numbers, in terms of the contract, are not that bad either. This is a per-year annual basis right now. In 2025, J.K. Dobbins is making less than Kenneth Walker and Breece Hall. Well, he absolutely smoked both of those guys in productivity this year. Breece Hall literally requested a trade at the trade deadline, and Kenneth Walker is kind of losing his job to Zach Charbonnet in Seattle. So if you could get J.K. Dobbins back on a deal like this, I would say it's absolutely worth it. But are you going to get him back on that kind of deal? Probably not. Pro Football Network actually came back out, one of my most trusted NFL news sources, and they said not only are the Broncos not interested in re-signing J.K. Dobbins, which I think is poppycock, but they claim the Denver Broncos in the third round of the 2026 draft are drafting a running back. In a 7-round mock draft published on Wednesday, this last Wednesday, so what is today, Tuesday? 6 days ago, the Denver Broncos drafted a running back in the third round of the 2026 NFL Draft. That is the last starter round, which is the first 3 rounds of the NFL Draft. J.K. Dobbins, though, was hurt in Week 10 and isn't likely to return to the Broncos in 2026, although he is number 8 in rushing yards and was number 7 in rushing yards per game. I'm glad they have all the answers. Because apparently George Payton wrote this article. And he's saying, yep, we're done with JK. I think that's a very, very foolish and kind of half-assed comment to make if you're Pro Football Network. It's the rare time that I disagree with them. However, they go on to talk about the replacement options if the Denver Broncos decide to move on from J.K. Dobbins. And that's where I think they're on to something. I don't think they're right in saying that J.K. Dobbins is no longer going to be a Denver Bronco. But I do believe that in the event that the Broncos decide to move on from J.K., the Pro Football Network actually could have some nice replacement options. Now, we're going to talk about those replacement options here in just a moment. Before I do that, got to tell you about our friends over at Prize Picks. The holiday season is here. It's the best time of the year for sports. And while you and I are sitting here making decisions every single day about what gifts to buy, what to eat, what games to watch, there is one place where it feels good to be right. And that's Prize Picks. Brand new feature alert on Prize Picks. They now have early payouts. So if your lineup gets off to a really hot start, you may now have the option to cash out those winnings before the game even finishes. And how you play is up to you. If you want flexibility, choose the flex play. If you want to get paid even more money, then you go with the power play. Doesn't matter how you play. You just got to download the Prize Picks app today and use code CLNS to get $50 instantly in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 instantly in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. I'm going to have all of that in the comments and description of today's video. Prize Picks, it is good to be right. So Pro Football Network, that is the source of what we just saw here. And again, they're trusted. I don't think that they're the holy grail, just like PFF is, but they do have some really interesting articles that I highly recommend you go check out. So who do they have the Broncos selecting in the third round? Because that's what they said. The Broncos are going to draft a running back, number 96 overall. And I got double me going on right here. Hello, it's double moose. There we go. PFN has the Broncos selecting Jonah Coleman, running back out of the University of Washington. Okay, fine. You throw that out there. It's my job to do the homework. So let's talk a little bit about Jonah Coleman. He's a team captain on the University of Washington, viewed as kind of like an unk figure is what they call him on the team. So he's definitely an older player, but just look at the sheer girth, giggity, of this guy. I mean, he's huge. And look at that stiff arm right there. This guy, by the way, is 5'9", 226 pounds. He's a freaking bowling ball. He's massive. So I went back and I watched the highlight tape of him, and I'm like, man, that guy runs with strength. Is he the fastest, like, north to south, going to beat you in a track meet? Probably not. But he certainly does fit that RB1 mold. He certainly does. And finding the end zone is another area where he absolutely excels. 14 touchdowns in 2025. On 144 carries, that's 4.7 yards per carry. Now, here's the problem with the Washington Huskies. He's only got 673 rushing yards this year. They are an air raid offense. They love to throw the football. So have we gotten the full scope of what Jonah Coleman could have been? No. For that reason, I'm probably saying on Jonah Coleman in the third round. But you know who is available that I've watched play every single snap of his career? Jadarian Price. Take that guy in the third round. Jadarian Price is if Jeremiah Love is like, I don't even know a good compliment here. Jeremiah Love's up here, right? Jadarian Price is right here. Like, he's not as good as Jeremiah Love, but he's damn good. Like, damn good. And look at this. Here's what I find funny. Coleman is the number 1 in Washington. Jadarian Price is the number 2 at Notre Dame, and he's still put up almost identical, and some would say maybe even better numbers. 113 carries for 674 yards, 11 touchdowns, and 6.0 yards per carry. He's also unbelievable as a special teams returner. I've watched every snap of this kid's career. He's a dog. And if he decides to stay another year, that's the one caveat with this, is we don't know if he's going to declare. We all think he's going to declare, but we don't know yet for sure because he's a junior. He's going to be the number 2 running back on the board. Love is 1, Price is 2. Scary stuff to think about. And I know everybody's thinking, we already took a running back from Notre Dame. His name is Audric Estime. I can say this with certainty. They're not similar. Like, Price is the 10 times the better back than Audric Estime ever was. And I thought Audric Estime was really good in college. Jadarian Price is different. Same with Jeremiah Love. These are the two best backs Notre Dame has ever had since Jerome Bettis. It's not even close. I'm not even entirely so sure yet about bringing back Dobbins if we just round out the episode by bringing it back to JK. I want JK Dobbins back on the same deal because of the injuries. But you can make the argument if you're JK Dobbins or his agent, we showed plenty to go out and fetch top dollar for some running back needy team. And if that means he wants $5 to $6 to $7 million a year, I don't know if you're George Paton that you go out and you do that. So there's a lot riding on the remainder of the year. All of this is going to depend on, by the way, how far the Broncos make it. If J.K. Dobbins turns out to be the missing piece, so be it. George Paton pays an extra couple $1 million, and you ride off into next year, and you reload it. But the question now is up to you. Would you re-sign J.K. Dobbins? Type S for sign, type P for pass down in the comment section down below. That is going to do it for us on today's episode. A reminder to hit that subscribe button, like today's video. Mile high salute, Broncos country. Be cool.